I hate introducing myself, but I also am aware of the fact that you don't know me. My name is Jordyn. I prefer to be called Jordyn Anese. It's my first and middle name, and I always thought as an adult, I should say, that that was such a pretty combination. Jordyn Anese. It's like, I don't know, it's just really cute and marketable. So I started using it maybe in like 2015, 2014 ish. And it's just something that has stuck. You know what I mean? Over on Facebook, I had the Jordanese question of the day. I started that around the same time. And I would get into it. Like, we would ask real questions, okay? And have real conversations over there. I've gotten to know so many people from just the question of the day and challenging, like, their thoughts and how they got somewhere. It's one of my favorite things to do. Um, Also, with the name, for a while in my hometown, I would interview people who were doing amazing things. Whether that was amazing things in the community politically, doing amazing things in the community in regards to service, doing amazing thing with brand or music. That was like my favorite thing, like getting to know people, letting other people get to know them. It was such a time. And my friends were a big part of that time, recording the interviews, editing the interviews. Like, I love my friend group. You know what I mean? Like, my friend group has really just been the one and never the two. You know what I mean? Also, with the name, I had a career in radio for 3.5 years, very short, but I think it was very powerful and very meaningful, especially in the hometown. I started with a very small radio station, mom and pop kind of deal, and it was cool. It was like boot camp, if you will, of radio, but it was cool. Like, it was a great experience, a great time. And then I transitioned over to a corporate owned radio station that is really huge in the city of Flint, WDZZ. And that was a cool experience as well, but it still was like going from boot camp to making the band. You know what I'm saying? And maybe not as bad, like not as bad as whose name I won't mention, but really close. And you can see that within the entertainment industry that is just a norm. And when you don't want to make that a norm, you're looked at a little bit differently. That was my experience. Somebody else could have had a way better experience, with radio than me, but that was my experience. You know what I mean? If you don't want to walk and get the cheesecake, so to speak, then you ain't gonna make it. Like, that's kind of what it is. And for me, it's no disrespect, but for me, I'm somebody's mother. The last thing I'm worried about is walking and getting cheesecake. I'm trying to get to the bag, okay? A sustainable bag. Like, one that is going to work in this economy. If you know, you know. Radio don't pay a lot, baby. And now with the name, I am just being the best person that I can be. I have a podcast, Off the Radio with Jordyn Anese, where we get into the topics I love. We talk about God and some of the current events that are going on in this world. And I try to keep it more celebrity entertainment, interesting topics and takes, on questions, just because I think that we have a lot of things pushing out the hardships of what's happening, from the White House and the political side of things. We have a lot of things pushing that out. You know what I mean? I don't want to be that piece of media that continues that. So here I am talking to you right now. And I don't really have an ask, but like I mentioned, I do have a podcast, Off the Radio with Jordyn Anese. It is Audible on Spotify as well as Apple Podcasts. I really enjoy that space, and I enjoy that there are people who enjoy that space, right? If I don't release the pod at by a certain time, I am getting a message from at least 2 people, and that's enough for me, okay? At least 2 people who I don't talk to on the regular, and they're like, where pod at? And I'm like, oh my God, let me go ahead and upload. You know what I mean? So it's exciting. It's an exciting time for me. I'm consistent this year with the pod. Every single Wednesday, I'm your Wednesday Love, Wednesday Listen. I'm working on being your Wednesday View. Or maybe not even Wednesday, but working on being a part of your view. I have an idea in mind, and I don't want to share too much, but I think I'm going to try it out in September for sure. I am a mom. I have a son. He is 5. He'll be 6 on Halloween. Halloween baby. Something you need to know is that when I was pregnant, I remember telling him, like, he was in belly, and I'm like, I need you here by or on Halloween because I already got you a costume. And if you know, you know. If you're a mom, you know that costume was just the onesie and then the cape. It was a Batman onesie with the cape, but I had it already. I'd already bought it, so I needed him to be here. You know what I mean? But my son, he is now 5. He'll be 6 on Halloween. He does have autism, so that has been something that we are constantly growing through. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're growing through that. It's like a learning curve. And it's one of the most beautiful I've ever seen. While I know other people's kids thrive from certain things, right? Normal kids thrive from certain things. My son learns differently. I just talked about him on a podcast because for a couple of days, I noticed him spending a lot of time in his room. And even in spending time in his room, he was like getting upset, and then I would hear nothing. And then he would get upset. And after about the second time of that, I would like come to his door and I would say, do you need help? And he would say no. And I'm like, well, if you need help, you can come get mommy. And after about 3 or 4 days of that, he had me come in his room, and I noticed that he took apart this old train set. I bought him the updated version of the train set, and he merged the two. So now he'll go in there in his room. Ever since I've seen that and he did it for the first time, he will go in there and change up the way it's put together ever so often, every 2 or 3 days. And sometimes it's hanging out his room, it's in the hallway. Sometimes it's like in his room all over the floor. You have to walk, you know, in between the spaces. But he is a very smart kid, and he's very hands-on, and he just learns so differently. And it has been a beautiful challenge. Not a perfect one, but a beautiful challenge. And I'm loving that. You know what I'm saying? Something else about me that I think is really cool is that I'm at a space in my life where I am all about being better in ways that I just never thought I would care about, if I'm being honest. Like, I'm paying down this debt that I had, and I was just really being raggedy, you know, with this particular debt. I did not want to pay it back. And then I hear about a process server coming to my mom's house, and I'm like, let me call. Let me call and set up a payment plan, because I just didn't want to pay it back. I owed them people, and I did not want to pay it back. But I've been working on that, and I'm very proud of that because I've got a lot of progress down with that, okay? And it feels really good. I did have to pause it just for a month, but I did have to pause it. And in pausing paying that back just for a month, I started to feel really bad. And I started to feel really bad because it's like I'm making so much progress, and now I have to pause it. I just need to keep going until it's paid off. But I really need to pause. Like, I really need to take a pause for just a month. And I heard God tell me, like, it's never going to be perfect. You know what I mean? And something about me that you should know is that sometimes I feel like, okay, I'm doing this, and I'm doing this well, and I'm doing this perfectly, and I'm becoming all of these things. And I don't give myself room or grace in some of those spaces. And paying that debt is a space I did not give myself grace in at all. And I had to tell myself, you deserve grace. And you need to pause it for a minute. That's okay. You're going to pick it right back up. And it's going to be okay. And I don't know, having that conversation with myself was just so freeing, because it's something I've just been doing. I ain't been complaining about it. It ain't been nothing that's like breaking me down. You know what I'm saying? But I realized I'm at a space in the year where I need to pause it. And I called, and they were like, we can pause it for 30 days from today. And I was like, oh my mama, let's do it. You know what I mean? And I had that conversation with myself, and I just was like, you got to give yourself grace. So if you're like me, the message is give yourself some grace, because it's not going to be perfect every time. But as long as you communicate and do what you said you're going to do, then things will always work out for you. And I promise you, in a month from the day I had to call, I'm going to make sure I handle my business. What else do I want you to know? I'm single. I'm single. And I've been single for so long. But I saw a video where, and I think it might be old, I'm not sure, but Lauren London was talking, and she was saying, like, at this point in her life, she just wants to see herself how God sees her, like how he sees her. And for me, for a long time, I struggled with too many insecurities at once, I feel like. And at this point in my life, I see myself as somebody who has been given new grace and mercies every day. I see myself as somebody who God loves because every day, no matter how much I feel, whether it's I feel a lot or feel a little, I know to come back to him with all of those things, and he gives me, he shows me so much love. Like, I see myself as somebody who is beautiful and developing and growing, and that is something that I attribute to taking time to be single. And then, because all of these years I've been single, I have not been working on myself, so I'm gonna be honest, but taking the time at least the last 2 years to really work on my own self-confidence and work on the voices in my own head, the way I think about myself, the way I view certain things that I do. You know what I mean? Like, and I attribute that to being single, and I attribute that to being very intentional about just being a better person. Also, in being single, something that I had a conversation with myself about is, do I want to be married? I'm a mom, and I realize that being a parent, not just being a mom, but being a parent is service. And sometimes it's thankless service, but it's service, right? Every day I'm serving my son. You know what I mean? Like, I'm waking him up, I'm making sure his teeth are brushed, his face is washed, he's clean, he's ready to go to school. You know what I mean? His lunch is made, his clothes are ironed if they need to be. Like, I'm serving my son every single day. And I realize there's not going to be much of a difference if I get a husband. Like, I'm also going to have to serve him. And maybe not in all the exact same ways, but it's still service. And I thought about that, and I was like, do you want that for yourself? It was so random, too, how I asked that question. It's like I realized that, and then I asked myself, like, do you want that for yourself? Like, do you want to serve another human being? Because serving my son is easy to a degree. Serving my son is easy, though, and I say that because he's a child, and common sense would say some of this stuff he does not know how to do for himself, and I have to then do it and show him how to do it so he can. But serving a adult, you know what I'm saying, is something different, and I sat with that for a while, and the basis of who I am is community, is service. I love people. Like, I absolutely am a people person. So my answer is honestly yes. Like, I still want to be married. I still want to have a real relationship with someone that works and that is rooted in God. But realizing that it's service is such a game changer. It changes so much of, like, the fairy tale things that you tell yourself about a relationship. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's me in a nutshell. I don't know what you want me to know about you, but I'm willing to listen in or read whatever you're willing to share. I don't know if this counts as a episode 1 to the podcast, to the visual of the podcast, but I wanted to count for something. So if you enjoyed sitting here learning about me, from where my first and middle name took me to the fact that I'm single and what that means for me, I hope that you like it. I hope that you comment. I hope that you give me feedback. I'm only going to get better. I'm only going to get better with this. Right now, it's me and my phone and my thoughts. And at some point in my life, it'll be me and a team. Okay? It'll still be me and my thoughts, but it'll be me and a team who can edit and do all the cool things that should be done or that are normally done with video situations. So I'm glad you stuck around this long, and I hope you stick around, or come around I should say, for whenever the next one drops. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe on Spotify or Apple Podcasts to Off the Radio with Jordyn Anese. New episodes every Wednesday, because normally I am your Wednesday love, your Wednesday listen. Today I just happen to be in your view.